Hip two, is that all right? My first piece of advice would be to read. Reading is the only apprenticeship that we have. Reading is the only way we have of figuring out why stories, how people have used text over millennia to make other people feel things. It's such a weird thing when you think about it for a second, because these are meaningless scratches on a page that you have to translate. Like whenever I get the Chinese editions of my books, I literally don't know which book it is. I have to take a picture of it and put it on Tumblr, and then someone will tell me. They'll be like, oh, that's Catherine's. I'll be like, cool, great, I'll put it with the Catherine's ones. I have no way of translating, even though I wrote the book, I have no way of translating that code into ideas that can have a life inside of my mind. And that's the crazy relationship between reader and writer that you just don't get in any other kind of artistic medium. Because in some ways you have to co-create the work with me. Because you have to translate these symbols of language into ideas that form this narrative in your mind. You make the story as much as I do in some ways. And that's what I find so exciting about writing, but that's also what I find so exciting about reading. So my first advice is to read, to understand how other people over millennia have used text in a way that created images and stories in our minds. And then my second piece of advice is to tell stories to your friends and pay attention to when they get bored. That's the best advice I know for how to pace a story. I mean, Ransom and I have been doing that together since we were kids. There are YouTube videos where he's filming me telling the story of my high school prank, or he's filming me telling the story of when I worked as a CompuServe moderator or whatever. And a lot of the way that I told that story was not looking directly at the camera, but looking at Ransom and seeing when he was getting bored. And then I try to move to a funny part. Yes, ma'am.